that's why y'all come on up with me. So, as I mentioned in the previous video, you can see how it's tight at the top and you get that gap at the bottom. So we're going to see what we can do about trying to help remedy that some. And it's going to be a little bit of a process. So it's from multiple things. One, there's no collar ties. Two, they're kind of really spanned awfully far. And then the only kind of bracing they've got is a wall that essentially is pushing it that way anyway. Instead of supporting it upward at a straight angle, it's leaned. That wall is leaned. You can see it over there. Pretty good. Basically, essentially pushing that roof line. So we're going to see what we can do. You can see how this roof line, as it has fallen, it kind of goes like this because it's pushing towards the front. That one's kind of the same way, but there's more weight on the front side because of the extended porch ceiling. Worst case scenario, simply putting a wall back there on the main line over there, and then at least adding collar ties. Collar ties can make a huge difference because your span is going to be from where the bottom of the collar tie is. So if you put that collar tie even down here, it's still going to give your span be not too far from over there. Out of here. Square. You had it last. They handed it to me. A 412 is like 18 degrees. So 18 degrees means 72. That's the reverse of that. Might want a 2 foot level. 2 or 4. 2. hold it up there and see and check. We'll hold it up and check exactly where it's going to be kind of halfway for the bolt.
Okay.
All right, so now that we got our first one cut, well, besides our pattern, we're going to try and get it in place and see, make sure it's going to work before we start mass producing them. All right, put a screw in it right there.
About here?
Yep. Basically just in. That's fine, that's fine. Just gotta hold.
Okay.
And then on the other side, here, I'll hold this.
Yeah, I got a hand. You get over there.
You don't want to tighten it real tight because those screws we're going to take out. But that at least holds it in place so we can drill through the actual rafter as well. And he'll copy drill over there. You make sure this whole thing's in your camera angle. Well, I guess you can't see my side because this is in the way, but you can at least see the one end. So you'll notice it is tight on the bottom and there's a gap at the top. Now that gap up top should close some when we pick this up. It still may not be fully, but the collar tie doesn't have to go from edge to edge. You just want to make sure you're tying. You want to basically get like say 5 or 6 nails in from here into that rafter. And if you do that, you're definitely going to be more than good. Code I think requires like 3, but I like to do at least 5 or 6. 9 times out of 10, I'll do 8. But what we're doing, well, I'll go ahead. We'll continue real quick, and then I'll explain the idea of this and what we're planning on doing. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put in this bolt setup. And you can't see the other side, so I'm going to do this side first.
Show them what you're setting on the, show them the washers.
So what we've got, and the color doesn't matter under here because it's technically supposed to be waterproof. For the most part it is where the rafters are, but here and there, of course, this roof leaks right now. But a little bit of leakage isn't going to be an issue. But these are black bolts. They're painted black. They're galvanized with black. They are for decks, used to be used on decks. That's why they paint them black. It helps them disappear. But we got a lock washer to help keep it from ever backing off on its own. And it is galvanized. And then we have a fender washer, which just helps it, basically like a snowshoe on the wood, of course. Helps it take over a wider area. And we got the same setup on the back side with a nut. And we're basically wanting to create, at this point, what we're doing is we are trying to create a swiveling collar tie, essentially. So I am probably actually, for now, going to only finger tighten these. I might do a little more if I see a major gap here, but this side is really tight. The other side I got a little gap, so I might tighten it a little more than just finger tight using the ratchet and impact. Because I want this to be able to move. I want it to basically hold these two rafters together so they don't separate more, but I want it to be able to move as a swivel because essentially when we push this back upward the way it needs to be, which is kind of angled, this will be able to swivel. So this temporary screw we put in to be able to drill the hole, we're going to take that out after we get these bolts in. I'm going to tighten it just a hair. Wait. Definitely no more than that. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, which you can't see. And that's, like I say, I explained how it's going to work. So Tyler can go ahead and remove that screw while I get this started. A little warm?
Yeah, the screws get warm.
Yeah. All right, I need the impact and the ratchet. I'm going to tighten that one and then I'll back it off here because it helps pull it together. All right. The other impact to remove the screw. All right. So like I say, by pre-drilling the hole and then using these bolts here, this will be able to move, tweak. This is what you would want to do if you have an issue like this. And even if your roof is not sagging, it would not be a bad idea to go ahead and add a collar tie at least every other rafter. I usually, when I do them every one pretty much. Sometimes every other, depending on how much of a span the rafters are doing. In this case, because of how far it is, I'd probably do one on every one anyway. But that just helps, it adds that triangulation effect to the roof and keeps it from dropping at any point. So in pretty much all new houses, it's going to have this. But a lot of these older homes, they don't. And that's why if you drive down through a neighborhood, but especially a bunch of these old mill houses, almost every roof has a big sag in the middle of it. And it's because of this. So we're going to do a hyperlapse after I get them all cut of us just putting them all up real quick. But otherwise, this is what needs to be done. And then we'll just go from there. All right, so that's all of the bolts that I had with me. I had basically gotten two different setups depending, and was going to try and decide which was going to work better before I made up my mind for sure. But I do like this setup, so that's why I went ahead and skipped a few, just basically got them every so often for now. And we'll go ahead and we're going to cut the rest of them and have them ready so that the next time I'm down here, even if I'm down here by myself, I can throw them up. I just got to bring... I've got plenty of nuts, I got plenty of washers and lock washers. I just need about 20 more bolts for this setup. So I'll just have to get those and bring them, and then I can throw in the rest of these collar ties. For now, probably while Tyler's cutting some more of them, I might go downstairs and work on getting some water in here. Alright, so whenever I get the mortar and everything out, I will repair this. And I'm going to use the mortar to lock this in right here up against the brick. So that should work good. With that, we're going to need 2 90s at least, maybe 3. Got my little PEX box, a little bit of PEX. I should be able to get by with just 2. Basically just going to need enough to crimp it together for this first 90. Just to hook onto here and turn this. The good thing about PEX is you can turn it any direction you need to after you put it together. To make it look good. Like I say, you can turn it, so I can easily do that. Make sure that that's straight. So that would still kind of rattle around, of course, but it'll at least get us water. Now all we got to do is tie it into the actual meter outside, and we should be good. I'm going to go ahead and open up this ball valve. That way we don't have to crawl back under here just to turn that on when I turn the meter on. So we should be done under here as far as getting ourselves water at this house. Alright, so out here, this is not generally going to be this close to the house, but on this one it is right here. So, which is nice because I didn't have to dig up the entire yard to do this. It's just right outside the house. So, now I've pulled it out some. I had put this SharkBite cap on here just to keep them from getting dirt in it whenever they did finally come out and put this meter in. I want this to come out a little bit better, so I'm just going to take out a little bit more dirt. That'll help it come out smoother. And right about here, where we'll cut it. And I got a little tool to take that shark bite off and keep it. That's why I use the shark bites. You can reuse them over and over. Teflon tape. Make sure there's plenty of room down here. Trying to keep my head out the way, but to get it started I might have to. You want to make sure, of course, that you're wrapping the Teflon tape in the same direction as the fitting is going to screw on. Otherwise, when you screw the fitting on, it's going to back the Teflon tape off. So basically unscrew your Teflon tape while you're screwing on the fitting. This is our female fitting. Not going to be a lot of room in here because the way that this meter box is shaped, but this isn't very tight. Tighten this real quick so that then we can actually tighten ours. Hopefully there's enough room for this tool to get down in while open. Well, that's no good. bring it up where I can actually get it all the way on there. And then I can place that gasket, screw it right back on. Sure that's right. There we go. Now we should have water. We shall give that a try. Usually you'll use a tool for this, but you don't have to. I've got one, just not here. You can use a pair of channel locks or anything that'll fit on there. And it stops spinning. Should mean all the air. I'll double check underneath, but. And then with that on, we have water. So now today, we can finally say we got water here. With water, now we'll be able to actually mix ourselves some, if we need more concrete, but hopefully we're done with the concrete. But we still need to mix mortar, which is basically a type of concrete, of course, for the brick. So, but I believe that that is going to be it today, and we'll go ahead and I'm just going to close this meter up, and at least when I come down the next time, I'll be able to go ahead and finish doing those collar ties. We'll try and get all of those in and start jacking up that portion, and then depending on just how it goes, we'll see about jacking up from underneath some. It's going to depend on whether or not I have help or not. There's a good chance I'll be here by myself, but also I kind of do need to mow the lawn, I guess, before it gets too tall. So hope y'all have enjoyed watching. Like, subscribe. If you have a comment or a question that you would about anything or any other subjects that you think would be good, go ahead and leave it down in the comment section, and we'll see you the next time.